Gonna have a little sit down and chat. Got myself a coffee, made myself comfy, and I've put out a question box for some questions. And I've got some really good questions actually, so I'm gonna run through them. But a little bit of context for those of you that might have just stumbled across this video. Essentially, I am 23 years old. I am in a natural bodybuilding prep in the midst of the chaos, as they say. Prepping, running a business, doing a house reno, still trying to, be a good partner to my missus and still be a nice person, So there's a lot to balance, a lot to juggle, but I feel like I'm doing a pretty okay job. Just recently finished up one peak week, placing first in PCA Naturals, going into another peak week for PCA Universe. So we're in the thick of it and we're here for it. I'm looking forward to it. But with no further ado, let's get cracking with the questions. So I've not really looked through the questions, I'll be honest. I've just copied them. I've not thought about them. I've just put them to one side because I I want everything to be off the cuff. So first of all, how much of a calorie deficit are you in and how did I set it? So a calorie deficit will change, as most of you will know, as your body adapts, as it adapts to the current food and the current setup. You will have to adjust either your output or your input, so that being your food, as you go along, as you begin to hit plateaus. So the way that I started doing it was I knew that I was gaining roughly when I started prep. I knew that I was gaining roughly around 1 to 1.5 pound a month. So a pretty moderate surplus. I then worked out my maintenance. So just minus 300 or 400 off there. And then I minus another 300 or 400 off there. So the best way to find out your deficit is to find out how many calories your body needs to just maintain its body weight. So you can use these calculators online. Yeah, they work perfectly. But the best thing for me is just to eat the same foods every single day. Over the course of 7 days, has my body weight gone up? If it has, I'm probably eating a surplus. If it hasn't, then I am probably in a maintenance. So believe it or not, I've not actually tracked calories this prep, not tracked a single calorie. I've just eaten the same foods. And I was speaking about this with a client, and essentially we should look at calories as just a metric. It's a way to count how many ducks we've got in a pond. It's a way to just have a number there, so then we can go, right, I want to take away 200 calories, and we know that then reduces the amount of food. For me, I don't need to think about calories because I know this is my baseline food. If I need to increase the fat loss, increase the rate of loss, for example, I just need to reduce the amount of rice that I'm having or the amount of oats. So use that analogy if you are getting too fixated on the calories, and just use the thing of, I just need to eat less. Yeah, it's not that you need to eat less calories. Yeah, you do. But actually you just need to reduce perhaps something in your diet, which then creates the deficit that you're looking for. So next question. I've tried getting in shape so many times and always fall off. At what point do I just accept this isn't for me? So it's a very good question. And I see a lot of people yo-yo diet, see a lot of people do incredibly well, and then they end up back at square one. And that's purely because the plan that they're following hasn't been built around their life. And they've not had the level of enjoyment with the plan, which allows them to stick to it long term. So rather than framing it and going, this isn't for me. Instead, think this plan isn't for me. And instead, look at the core principles of achieving your goals. And then as long as the approach that you're going to choose follows the principles, you are still going to reach your goal. And what I mean by that is any diet works. You can do a meal plan, a structured meal plan like what I'm doing. You can do a calorie plan, so you're just meeting a certain amount of calories. You can train however you want to train. As long as the principle of progressive overload, high intensity, making sure that you're managing your recovery, it will work. Yeah, so find what works for you. And it does take time, but working with a coach or, actually sitting down and setting some time aside for yourself and thinking about, right, what do I actually need? Rather than what your mate needs, what do I actually need? And start to tailor that plan to suit your needs. If you can only train 3 times a week realistically and set aside an hour each day, 3 times a week, don't set yourself an unrealistic goal of training 4 times a week or training 3 times but trying to cram a 2-hour session into 1 hour. You can make things work with just 1 hour sessions 3 times a week. The reason why a lot of people fall off is because they are following something unrealistic and it's just not sustainable. So every single person that works with me, we always find a way, whether that's eating on the fly, whether that's calorie matching, calorie banking, whatever that is. There's so many ways to string a cat, and you just need a little bit of perseverance to actually find it. And right at the start, it is hard. It is really, really hard to find the way that suits you. But once you find it, after that, it's like a ball. Getting a ball rolling is quite hard. Once it's built up that momentum, it's easy to keep going. Yeah, it's just the start, which is the hardest. Next question. Does getting in shape actually change anything beyond how you look? Bodybuilding to some outsiders might look quite vain, and I get it because it's all about chasing a certain look and wearing some sparkly pants up in front of a couple hundred people. So you might think that it is quite vain, but it's actually the process of becoming that person that completely shifts your mindset, changes your routines and the person that you are. So for me, the discipline that I have got from prepping, not skipping a meal, doing my cardio when I don't feel like it, still training to 100% intensity, doing my steps in the pouring down rain, that discipline of doing things regardless and switching off my emotion has helped me massively when it comes to my work. There's things in everybody's work life that they don't like to do. For me, it is admin. I absolutely hate admin. But guess what? Now, I've said this is a non-negotiable on these days. It gets done. So now, rather than leaving it till last minute, everything is getting done in said time block. Whereas before, I would leave it until a week before it was due, let's just say, filing things or whatever, and it caused me more and more stress because I'd be chasing my tail. Whereas now, like what I do with steps, I get ahead with my steps. I say, right, after I finish clients, I'm going to do half an hour of steps rather than leaving it to the last minute. That mentality, that approach to getting ahead and staying on track with things and not chasing my tail has tied over into a lot of other things in my life. Also, just being prepared and being organized. Like I don't want to toot my own trumpet, but I'm pretty organized. And that has definitely come from being in prep. Making sure that all my meals are weighed out. They're ready to just grab and go. I'm busy. I don't have time to be slaving away over a stove or anything every single day. So 2 or 3 days I prep my meals for. The same with making sure that all clients are booked in. They're all booked in advance. I've done that since I started my business, but I definitely got those routines and those habits and that organization from being so regimented with my food. So it's not actually about the way that you look. Of course it is, but it's about that journey that you take from being potentially a little bit out of shape to getting to absolutely peeled. That shows you that you can be disciplined, that you can stick to something, see it through the hard times, and get that reward in the end when you get up on stage. Yeah. If you've never got in true shape, you've never truly understood how far you can push your body. And that has helped me, because now when I'm training with clients, when I'm actually in the set with them, I can say to them, I know you've got more in you. I know you've got 5 more reps. I know you've got 10 more reps in you. And they're wanting to stop because I've taken my body to the absolute limit. So not only is that helping me, but it's allowing me to get that extra rep out of that client. Yeah. And I would never ever give a client anything that I wouldn't or haven't done myself. So the stepper, the low food, stuff like that, I know that you can do it. And if I've done it and I've done it to get to a similar goal that they've got, then I know that they can do it as well. So it may look vain, but it's the whole process of actually becoming that person and those habits and routines that have played a huge role into the person that I am now. So next question. How has your training changed now you're in a prep versus when you were bulking? Not a lot. I still train like an absolute mong. I still go balls to the wall, literally every single set, everything that I have got. Still training heavy, still doing my drop sets, still doing my rest pauses. I don't train to be optimal. I train because I have fun doing it. Literally, I love training. So why would I change that just because I'm prepping? I prep because I train and because I like to eat well. I don't eat well and train because I'm prepping. If you're doing it that way, you're probably not going to see it through, or you're probably not going to get into the condition that you needed. Yeah, so look at it like that. Next one, what are my long-term goals in bodybuilding? Well, as I mentioned in the last one, I just love to train. I love to eat and I love to progress. So as for like getting a pro card or anything like that, if it happens, it happens. Like, I just take everything in my stride. As long as I'm moving forward, one foot in front of the other. I've not got some huge goals within bodybuilding. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool to get a pro card, but also I'm realistic. There's some incredible physiques out there that are much, much better than mine. So as long as I can be better and be the best version of me every time I step on stage, then I'm winning. So I know it's a bit of a cop-out answer and it's not really probably the answer that you wanted to hear, but it is very true. Next question. I work long hours and by the time I'm done, I have zero energy to train. What do I do? Train in the morning. Yeah, if you genuinely, I don't know how some people do it where they go work 9 to 5 or whatever job. They go home, have a meal, sit down on the sofa, then pluck up the courage to go train. I couldn't do it. Genuinely couldn't do it. So for me, it's very much a thing of if I was in that position, get up before work, train. Or get up, go to work, don't give yourself a chance to go home. Make sure that you've had a good pre-workout meal around 2-3 hours, 2 hours ideally, 1 to 2 hours ideally. But if it is 3 hours, because I know a lot of like lunch breaks are around 3 hours before people finish, then make sure that you've got good fueling and go straight to the gym from work. Then as soon as you finish the gym, you can go home and you can chill. Yeah. So that's what I would do. You've got to be disciplined with it. At the end of the day, if you want something, if you want to achieve a goal, you're going to have to do things and train when you're tired, train when you don't want to. So there is going to be an element of discipline there, but you have to choose also the time which is the most convenient for you most of the time. Yeah. Next question. How do you manage hunger on prep? Do I ever struggle with it? What's hunger? No. If I told you how I manage hunger, it would be, people would think that I'm a tapped. I don't give myself a chance to be hungry. At the end of the day, there's people out there that are starving, and I get 6 meals every day. I get 6 really, really good quality meals that have a bit of flavour in. I get plenty of water. How can I be hungry? At the end of the day, I'm making myself do this. There's no person there that's saying, you must do this, you must drop your food. I'm making myself do it. You're making yourself diet because you want to lose weight. Well, is hunger going to be a better feeling for you than staying out of shape? Probably so. Yeah. You've got to choose what you want to do. If you want to not be hungry, then you've got to stay out of shape. Yeah, there are little things like potato, like these different foods which are a little bit more satiating, don't get me wrong. But once you've exhausted those, and if you're still hungry, then you're probably just going to have to suck it up or stay looking like a bag of custard. Yeah, so that is how I manage hunger. How you should manage hunger: plenty of water, keep busy, eating foods which are satiating, so they're quite high up in the satiety index. Fruit, veg, potatoes, one of the most satiating foods that you can eat as well. How do you deal with looking in the mirror and not seeing progress, even though you're doing everything right? You're not going to see progress every day. You're not going to see the scale weight move every day. Are you in a better position than what you was last week or 2 weeks ago? If you are, then keep going. If you've got deadlines to meet, then of course you need to see a good track in the right direction. But if you're doing it more for lifestyle, I expect there to be peaks and troughs. You're going to have different amounts of water, different amounts of electrolytes, different amounts of stress. Yeah, there's always going to be peaks and troughs with your weight. But on average, you should always be moving towards your goal and trending downwards. For me, because everything is sort of like nailed to the T, water, electrolytes, stress is managed pretty good, aside from, the odd stress with the house, etc. I know that if body weight hasn't moved for a good few days or a week, I need to pull my finger out and I need to really push things on. But you've got to look at it, right? How much am I actually giving to this process? Am I not seeing the return for the effort and the things that I'm doing for the process? If you aren't, then you might need to change something. If you are, just give it a little bit more time and things will continue to move forward. Next question. What supplements are you taking? So morning, I'll wake up, I will have vitamin C, I'll have a scoop of electrolytes, HydroFlow by Conte Sports, or the new Engineered Muscle Catalyst, 20 grams of creatine, 10 grams of glutamine, and then pre-workout, I will have just a scoop of pre-workout. And that's all on whey protein. I don't take anything else. Tell a lie. On an evening, I will have magnesium biglycinate, L-theanine, and glycine, 7 of each. And that sends me off to sleep very nicely. That's all I take. I don't take anything else. I should take something for my joints, but I'm too far into prep to start messing about with all of these things which can affect inflammation and whatnot. So once prep is finished, I will definitely be investing in some good omegas, curcumin, potentially, etc. Yeah. Next question. My mates take the piss when I'm eating well or skipping drinks. How do you handle with that kind of social pressure? Just bin them off. No, I'm joking. Firstly, are they aware of your goals? If they're aware of your goals and they're still having a giggle, then they're probably not the right people for you. If they're not aware of your goals, then make them aware. I've been asked by a couple of people, do you want to go out for drinks, or do you want to go out for some food, or meet up for a catch-up, coffee, whatever? And I've been straight up and I've said, listen, I am on prep. I will meet you, but I am just going to be having a Diet Coke or a black coffee. And they're totally fine with that because they're aware of my goals. But if they're not, then you've got to make them aware. You've got to say, listen, I am working really hard because I'm going away with a missus in a couple of weeks' time. I am wanting to really shift a couple of pounds because I'm not feeling too great, lads. You know, I'm not feeling confident. I'm not feeling myself. And they'll understand that. They should understand that anyway. So just be 100% with them. And if they're still not supporting that, are they really the people for you? That's what I would say anyway. What's the one thing most guys get wrong about getting in shape that nobody talks about? How long it takes. Like, genuinely, it takes time. And if you want to stay in shape as well, it will be a lengthy process. There is going to be ups and downs, but it does take time. It will not happen overnight. You have to trust the process and actually apply yourself to the process as well. I'm not just saying 5 days a week. I'm saying 7 days a week and still enjoying a little bit of flexibility, but being consistent over time. It takes months and months and months, if not years, to develop a really, really good, solid physique and a good foundation. You need to know when to say no. You need to know when to say, yeah, I can do this. But ultimately, you need to give it time. You need to give it time. One more question. I'm going to pick a good one because I've been going nearly 25 minutes. Biggest mistake on prep? I wouldn't really say there's any mistakes because every action you can always reverse. Or at least when you're in a prep, you shouldn't be making changes that are going to be irreversible. Yeah. You want to make small little changes which in turn will have a profound effect. Yeah, you don't want to be dropping 500-600 calories at a time. You want to do small little increments, 100-200 calories at a time. I think a lot of people, when they'll go into a prep, they will try changing too much too quick. Don't. It's the worst thing that you can do. You've got to keep those tools in the toolbox. You've got to keep cardio as minimal as possible, food as high as possible, reap the rewards out of that, as much fat loss as you can, and then use one thing at a time, whether that pull food down a little bit or increase cardio. I also see a lot of people changing things when it comes to peak week. For me, food sources stayed the same. Water stayed the same. Electrolytes, everything like that, all stayed the same. I wouldn't say there's anything that I've really made what I would class as a mistake. There's times where I've gone, fuck, why have I done that? But everything is, I've been able to just claw back. Yeah, no mistakes, only lessons. I know it's cliche, but yeah, no mistakes, only lessons. And that's it. That is me wrapping up this Q&A, little chit chat. I've had a bit of my coffee, going to finish off my coffee, and then I'm going to go grab some food because I am hungry. No carbs today because start carbing up tomorrow, so little depletion. But yeah, if you've watched this far, I really appreciate it. Comment below coffee and I'll know that you've watched the end. If you want to see any other videos, let me know. Drop it in the comments as well. Give it a like, give it a little sub because there's going to be plenty more content coming your way. All the best. Take care.